And hello, good evening here on Land Tamer Stream. Day 432, Wednesday night. And we're going to talk about some class-based generic shaping. INE labs. So still in QoS, driving towards wrapping up to, this weekend and moving on to security. So that's where we're at. It will be brief tonight. I do have to work here in a little bit. We have a change coming up, and I'm supporting the change. So I have to keep it brief this evening. Won't be able to. I did some labbing earlier today. Completed, I think, 2 labs. In fact, let's pull up the INE workbook and I'll show you where I'm at here and just kind of give myself a little review. Let's see, I think I have it up already. Yes. And as you can see, they're flashcards. Yes, flashcards. Got really behind. But I'm getting caught up. Yeah, so in terms of the QoS labs, as I've mentioned before, there are not that many in the INE workbook, but I did wrap up today several here earlier this morning and at lunch, and I was actually going to lab this on stream, but I finished it earlier than I thought I would. The generic-based traffic shaping. I'm not sure why this was here. The order of, again, I've mentioned this before, like shaping is in the first lab or second lab. So why they're doing some generic shaping here, which is already really covered up here, I don't know. The whole logic of how the order of these is just baffles me. I'm glad I read the book, you know, the QS exam guide book, because otherwise I would be just in dire straits trying to figure this stuff out. Yeah, so the next labs we got coming up, I did a couple today. I've got generic traffic shaping and class-based weighted fair queuing. I believe this is going to be very simple. I've already done policing labs. I already did this one kind of in advance. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get these done, and then I can move on with percent-based policing, pre-classified. This is new material for me, and this is not, but will be in the form of a lab. So yeah, I'm feeling momentum right now, whereas before it was taking me several days just to get to a lab, doing a lot of reading. Now I'm actually hitting lab after lab, and it is looking like I'm going to wrap up QoS by this weekend, which would be great. Flashcard catch-up. Yes, I got, as I mentioned yesterday, I got really behind due to my weekend project, personal project, and then just trying to understand QoS. So I had over 100 to review, and I got through several of them today, which is good. And I posted one of those on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram from time to time, I'll just take a quick, screenshot of the card and then the back of the card. And actually, I wonder if you would get this one. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Do like a little quiz since we're not going to really lab today. Okay, yeah, here's my post. So what is the extended formula for calculating shaping time commitment, TC? And this I used in the lab today, right? So what is the extended formula for shaping TC? When I say extended, I mean like all of the units of measurement. So you have TC, which will be in milliseconds, equals what? And let me see if I actually get it right, because I had to use this in the lab earlier. I believe it is BC in bits divided by the CIR, committed information rate, in bits per second. And this will be times 1,000, because we're looking for the milliseconds of units. So let me see if I got that right. Yeah, TC in milliseconds equals BC in bits Yeah, I should have put this inside parentheses here. Good, I got it. Yeah, had to use that earlier today on the INE lab, so this was very convenient. Hit that early this morning. I actually got up. I woke up about 2 something a.m. and I came back to sleep, and I got up and just studied, and started catching up on flashcards. They're very unforgiving, so if you get behind, they just continue to accumulate. It's like the dishes, like you can do a few at a time, but that doesn't really get them all done. And at some point, you just have to, you know, knock them all out, right? So that's kind of what these flashcards are like. So maybe we can pull up another one or two here. Yeah. So this right now, my deck is this particular deck consists of a lot of IPv6 hexadecimal conversions, PIMv6, the hard stuff, QoS. That's mainly what is in this particular deck right now. So yeah, this is a good one. I missed this one earlier today. That's why it's asking me again, which is good, which is what I want. So that's what I'm going to be working on this evening. One just little announcement here was pretty cool. Peter Paluch, who I happened to meet last year at Cisco Live, and he's a great individual. Tony and I actually sat with him for a while and had a nice conversation. He's a great mentor. But it was announced today on Twitter that basically by David Peñalosa that he has been appointed the new CCIE routing and switching program manager. And then a lot of outpouring on Twitter just because Peter's been great in terms of his helping the community. And it's very obvious from, people ask questions out there on, he mainly does the Cisco Learning Network. People ask questions out there. Excuse me, like I said, I've been up since 2 this morning, but and he will give like such an authoritative answer, and not just like because I'm Peter Paluch, but he'll explain and give screenshots or Wireshark captures. And he's always been such a big help to the community. He's helped me personally when I've reached out to Twitter a couple of times, and he's like fired up an old lab just to provide me, some information, which just speaks to the mentor that Peter Paluch is. So I'm very happy about that. So that means, I don't know what it means, to be honest. Does every new program manager try to put their, mark on the program? Maybe. The CCIE version 5.1 routing and switching has been around a little while now, since I've been studying for it. The only changes have been in the evolving technologies, which was all the tracks, including CCDE. So I'm just very interested to see what his potential management of the program might bring in terms of changes. Obviously, the program needs to continue to change and reform and grow, and to maintain its reputation. So I'm really looking forward to that. Just had that announcement today. That's about all I got, folks. Busy day for me. Got a change coming up, like I said. And but hopefully we'll continue to drive towards finishing up QoS, and maybe even this weekend we might be able to move. Well, I will say this. I'm going to take a brief pause before doing security, diving into the security section of the workbook. I don't imagine that section is going to be very difficult in terms of concepts. That's going to be probably a good bit of memorization. I did a lot of security study for the written. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be quite a bit of memorization and just practice. But before I get into that, I wanted to do a review of a lot of the previous sections that I've been covering. So it's time for some labbing review overall. So I think we're going to go back to Foundation Lab. Now, whether that happens Saturday or Sunday, I'm not sure. Again, it depends on how soon I can finish these QoS labs, how late I have to work tonight, for example, and get behind tomorrow. But if all else fails, hopefully next week we'll be starting some foundation labs and getting back into that before hitting security. So anyway, that's all I got tonight. Thanks so much for hanging out, folks. All the viewers, appreciate it. You can follow me here on Twitch, of course on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord, of all places. A lot of good discussion in Discord. Help with Eve, NG, GNS3, things like that. If you have questions, always post there that your fellow students are in there. And if you're looking for motivation, or if you're looking for just general questions, yeah, I'm struggling with the lab, pop a question in there. And, you know, I'm sure someone will respond and do what they can. Cisco Live, you know, we'll probably do a meetup, Cisco Live. So anyway, enjoy the conversation in the Discord channel in the link. And we shall see you back here tomorrow night here on the Land Tamer stream. Have a great night.